Today's review is of today's videos of the top 6 B&M Inverted Coasters that I have written. So basically these inverted coasters are basically rides that you hang below the track to ride, but basically they're very forceful and very intense. So basically this is my top 6 B&M Inverted Coasters I have written. So let's get things right off with Alpengeister at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. This ride, even though I wrote this ride, and I do like riding it a lot, but this ride is very rough. It's very rough, especially on the Cobra Roll or by that big course break one. Even though some others like it, I have to disagree with them on this. I definitely agree with Taylor from Coaster Studios because I think this ride is very rough. Even though it's the tallest inverted coaster in the world, I still found it to be very rough, very uncomfortable, and very shaky as well. I thought this ride was very shaky. So that's why it's coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5 is Batman the Ride at Six Flags Good Adventure. I found this ride to be a lot more better than Batman the Ride because it's not as rough or shaky, but it's really more intense. This ride has a very great intensity. This is the only clone I've written, as you're seeing from this footage. This clone is the clone from Great Adventure, so basically, this is basically like this is a clone from a Great Adventure, and this is the only Great Adventure clone I've written. And I heard that the Great Adventure clone, it is basically like the more forceful clone, because this ride is very forceful. As you're whipping through those inversions, you're hitting a lot of G's, which I think is very cool. This ride's inversions are very fun and very cool. It has a shorter layout, and it's not like one of the tall B&M inverts. It's not like a small one, but it's very compact, very intense. There's B&M inverts, especially the B&M Batman clones, are so graceful, like the flying Supermans, and this is why this ride's coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is Talon at Dorney Park. This ride is very fun. I wrote this ride. I wrote this ride at Dorney Park. First time I wrote it in 2014. It was very fun, very intense. Then I wrote it in 2016. I found it to be the same way. And I don't get why many people don't rate this already high enough. I thought this ride was very fun, very intense as well. This ride is a very intense, fun coaster. Well, I wouldn't say like it's intense, but it's a very fun and cool coaster. It's like almost like a Batman clone, but except it's a little bit more unique because it has like orange and yellow. Plus, I found this ride to be very silent. It was not as loud as some of the other B&M coasters, which I thought was a little interesting and fascinating. That's why it's coming in. And well, before I even say that, this ride is very unique because it goes into the ground. That's why they call it Talon the Grip of Feel, because they're basically like feeling the grip of this ride's intensity, because this ride is very intense, especially when you go over to the ground, which I thought was very cool. That's why this ride is coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Great Bear at Hershey Park. I found this ride to be a little bit more intense than Talon because it's like a little bit more of a stronger layout, but it's basically short like Talon. It basically like interacts over the water, and it interacts with Super Duper Looper, and a little bit with it only interacts with Super Duper Looper and Cracker, but this ride is basically a forceful ride. Plus, it's so loud. This is like the loudest coaster at Hershey Park. As I was waiting in line for comment, I heard this big roar to the midway, and I was like, "What is that sound?" I turned around, and it was Great Bear, because this ride is very loud to the hollow midway. But basically, this ride is like very fun, very intense, and it's also pretty smooth. I did not bang my head on this ride at all either. This is a very smooth B&M Inverted Coaster. Plus, it's one of the better ones because it's more smooth, intense, very fun, especially with its inversions. It may be a short ride, but that being said, it's a very fun ride, and that's why I consider it to be at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Afterburn at Carowinds. I found this ride may be shorter, but I found it to be a little bit better than Great Bear because it's a little bit more louder and it's more compact. Even though Great Bear is a little compact, I found this ride to be a little bit more compact because it's more shorter. Even though I wish it was longer, but you basically like glide down and fly back up like a jet because this ride is like themed to like a jet. But basically, this ride's number of inversions. It's kind of like similar to Montu, but basically, this ride is very intense, very fun. I found this ride to be a very intense, compact, bam, 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 one element after another, being an inverted coaster. I got to ride this ride for the first time in April of 2018, also known as spring break. And I would have to say this ride was very fun, very intense. My mom thought it was fun, but this ride was very fun and intense. And that is why it is coming in at number 2. And finally, number 1, this is Montu at Busch Gardens, Tampa. This ride will always be my number 1 favorite inverted coaster. I got to ride this ride once, but I consider it my favorite B&M inverted coaster. The best seats, basically the back seats, so I basically sit in the back. And oh my god, I got whipped over those 7 inversions, and it was so amazing. So you go into a vertical loop first, then a Immelman, then a Zero G roll, then a Batwing, and then another loop, and then a corkscrew. But basically, this ride basically has like the full package. It's very smooth. It's forceful because the B&M inverts with the best rider restraints. People might have thought those were better, but the best restraints, they basically tighten on you, and basically people don't like that. So basically, this ride is the more superior and the more better coaster. Plus, it's more forceful than ever. Plus, it has a little bit of a theme because it's in the Egypt section of the park. This ride has basically exceeded my expectations. It's a very fun and forceful ride, and it will always be my number 1 B&M inverted coaster. So that's going to do it for this review. That's going to do it for this countdown. Make sure to stay tuned for more countdowns coming soon here. And thank you guys, and thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.